Well, alrighty. Today is Saturday, August 17th. Time for another Buoy 10 update. And today was quite interesting, we'll say. The weather was funky. We had thunder, we had lightning up in the hills up around us. The wind was blowing from the east, and then from the north, and then from the south, and then back from the east, and then a little bit from the west. It was all over the place. And the fish were acting pretty funny too. I was watching them through the active target on my Lowrance, and they were ripping upriver. They were nuking. Just I couldn't keep up with them with my kicker motor when we were trolling. I was trying to troll with the tide, like going 5 miles an hour, and I could not keep up with them. Their tails are going 100 miles an hour. It was interesting to watch. And then when I did get the gear in front of them, they'd flare and they'd turn off. So a lot of guys today had a hard time getting into fish. It was very scattered. You were just found a group that wanted to play or you didn't. We marked plenty of fish. We had plenty of fish going through the gear. They just did not want to engage. They would just go through the gear and they would flare off of it. They would not turn and look. And when they don't turn and look, you're gonna have a hard time getting fish to bite. But as soon as that system went through, we started getting a little bit more action. I started on the wash-in side, and again, hundreds of fish going through the gear. One here, one there, one here, one there. Nosed in at the bridge on the Washington side, got a few. Got maybe one bite up at Shipwreck. Heard of a couple of guys who got them pretty good at Shipwreck, and I saw maybe a couple nets, so it was just right place, right time. Down at Chinook, Iwako, Buoy 10-14, that whole area, checkerboard, it was scattered. Some guys landed on a good group and caught them. Other people, like I think for my first 2 hours this morning, I didn't see a single net. That entire last part of the outgo, which was crazy. There are plenty of fish on the screen. And then we kicked over to the Oregon side, nosed in at the bridge for a bit, and that was good for about half hour. We had some good action, a lot of fish coming through, and that was right as the storm started going by. And when the storm was pretty much done, the fish started to turn and engage into our gear a little bit better. Now, whether that had to do with the barometer or not, this is where the guide excuses come out. I can say, oh, it's barometer, oh, it was the light, oh, it was the tide, oh, it was the red tide. Because red tide was really bad on the Washington side today. You could come up with whatever excuse you want, but the reality is the fish just did not want to chew whatsoever. But as soon as that storm started going by and the tide started pushing in good there at the Oregon side bridge, we got into a little bit of a snap for about half hour. I will say that in the dark conditions, my flashers, oh, there's one right there. Is that? Yep, he's got the Bronco too. So my flashers with this UV on it, when the cloud cover was out, definitely pulled in more fish. And then I don't know why, usually dark colors, dark days, but this Bronco right here, this guy, I ended up putting on, I think, 5 Broncos. I put 5 Broncos on because Bronco was getting bit really well with the UV flasher during that storm coming through in the dark sky. And I'll also say too, hoochies. Oh, what did I just knock in the water? That's not good. Hopefully it wasn't my knife. Hoochies on every single spinner. These are the Fishfield baby hoochies, Rocket Red, or I think it's called Sherbet or something like that, the pink and orange one. So either red or pink and orange. I have that on every single spinner right now, and here's the problem. It's the same thing when I talk about scent. I never know if it really hurts, or I don't know if it helps. I know it doesn't hurt. So the hoochies on every single spinner right now, I know it's not hurting us. I don't know if it's helping or not, but they're on every spinner. And these are the ones from Fishfield here, the baby hoochies. Orange or red or pink and orange. Those are the two that I'm looking for. So Bronco was doing really, really well. And then as soon as the sun came back out, switched back over to Mexican Hat. Tried running candy corn and a couple of painted blades, but nothing really seemed to make a difference. But I don't know, it was funky. Once the water temp dropped there at the bridge on the Oregon side, we started losing fish and didn't see them on the graph as much. So I ran back upstream until I found the water temperature that we saw the fish in earlier. Dropped back in and the screen was, it was empty. It was non-existent. And we just kept on trolling up towards Tongue Point until we ran into fish. And once we ran into them, I just kept trolling up with it. Even though the tide was starting to flip, I just kept nosing up into it. And even still in my active target, I saw them still swimming upstream even when the tide flipped. So going with the fish, same direction they were going, keep my gear in front of them for a little bit longer seemed to make a difference. because we got onto a pretty good tear there right at the end before we called it a day, and I think we had probably 8 or 10 grabs just in the last hour that we were fishing. So right at high slack, just trolling with the fish the direction that they were going seemed to help out, because I could get our gear in front of them. I'd throttle into them, I'd turn into them, and keep the gear right in their face until finally one of them would make a bad decision. So that seemed to help out for sure, but if I didn't have that active target, I would not be able to see where the fish were, turn into them, see how fast they're swimming, speed up, get into them, and just see how they're reacting to the gear and what gear is pulling them in. That one flasher with the Bronco, when we were nosed in at the bridge on the Oregon side, they were all swimming right to that one, and then they might go bite a different one, but they'd swim to that one first. And then when the sun came back out, it didn't seem to matter. So who knows? Maybe it was just law of averages, but that's what I saw on the active target there today. So tomorrow we're gonna have some south wind. Looks like quite a bit of south wind, and that's actually gonna work out okay, because I think tomorrow I'm gonna stay mostly on the Oregon side. That outgoing tide, I'd like to be down at Checkerboard. I think on the first part of the flip I'm gonna be on the Red Can line, maybe around Hammond, and then just keep following them up on the Oregon side over up to the bridge, and then up to the tankers and up to Tongue Point. That way I can use the Astoria Hill to try and protect me from the south wind. Hopefully it's not as bad as forecasted, but kind of looks to be. So that is my plan for tomorrow. Looks to be a beautiful day, another 70-degree day, but just south wind. Okay, now I'm gonna go put some fuel in the boat, retie a bunch of spinners, clean up my mess, my yard sail back there, get the rods put away, go get some fuel. I got my power steering fixed, so that was great. Thanks again, Stevens Marine, appreciate you guys. And here we go. Time to go to the banquet and go have some fun. I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 pictures of Jared Higginbotham and I tonight. We'll see those circulate around. Okay, go have fun this weekend. Go catch some fish. They're out here. It was a weird bite today, but tomorrow is a whole new day. Go get them. Later.